The recent orders by the Supreme Court of India, both the original order and on August 11th and the subsequent modified order few days later, have once again brought to fore the issue of street dog menace. How to deal with the street dog menace? Well, the society seems to be divided and rather polarized between the dog lovers, the animal lovers, and especially the dog lovers, and those who are considered to be dog haters. Not necessarily they are dog haters, but those who believe that street dog menace should be sternly dealt with. So they are being accused of as dog haters. So the society is polarized on tackling the street dog menace. So before getting into the scientific approach, what should be the scientific approach on dealing with the problem, let me first tell you this gravity of the problem. So estimates suggest that in 2024, there were 3.7 million dog bite cases, which is a whopping number by any stretch of imagination. 37 lakh cases of dog bites. All need not necessarily lead to rabies, which is a life-threatening disease, but every dog bite causes untold suffering, is very painful, and absolutely sometimes even disables the human beings also. So out of these, what are the cases of rabies cases? The Lancet Infectious Journal reported that there were 5,700 deaths last year due to rabies. Well, the World Health Organization estimate put this figure much higher at 18,000 to 20,000. So this is the gravity of the problem. Then comes the question, what should be the basis? Before I really talk about the street dog menace, so the Prevention of Cruelty Towards Animals Act, we have a legislation which clearly says any cruelty towards animals is absolutely uncalled for and rather illegal. So if anybody shows any kind of cruelty towards any animal, it will be considered as a crime. That was the reason why Jallikattu was banned. That was the reason why cockfights were banned. Well, due to pressure from cultural, in the name of culture, etc., there were some relaxations. But Supreme Court, the Apex Court judgments and High Court judgments have time and again emphasized the need for animal safety and preventing cruelty towards animals in any form. So then when this is being debated in courts, there were arguments by those who oppose cockfights, those who support cockfights rather, those who support the bullfights in the name of culture. Their argument is, well, you are showing so much concern for the cocks, so much concern for the bulls, but where did your concern go when you eat chicken, you eat mutton, you eat fish, you eat beef, and they are not causing any harm to you. The goats and sheep, the fishes, they did not cause any harm to you. Then why are you killing them and eating? Is that not cruelty? And that too when they are not causing any harm to you. On one side we feed, we love fish in aquariums, but at the same time we also love the fish curries and fish cutlets. So is this not a split behavior of human beings? When this question was posed to the judiciary made it clear. Any act towards animal for human necessity cannot be construed as cruelty. So when human beings eat chicken, mutton, beef, fish for food, it cannot be considered as cruelty towards animals because it is out of human necessity, for human consumption. Humans can't live only with the with the vegetarian food. Well, a person like me who is a strict vegetarian may love this proposition. But across the world, if you find most of human beings are non-vegetarians. So therefore, you humans cannot live without eating food. And they cannot live only on the plant-based food. So the fact remains that the human evolution as this component of eating animals for food. So therefore that can't be considered as cruelty. So then question comes, so when you deal with the street dog menace, will this not rule be applied? So here not just the human necessity or human consumption, it's a question of human safety. So therefore we should not have any sentimental or emotional approach towards dealing with the street dog menace. We need to be scientific in our approach. So what constitutes the scientific approach? Not just for humans, dogs also kill other animals. The animal lovers, dog lovers should answer this question. Are dogs the only animals to be protected? Should we not protect human beings? Should we not protect other animals who are victims of dog menace? So that question also, the International Union for Conservation of Nature estimates that 191 types of species, animal species, are threatened. Many of them are even endangered species like the black buck, etc. Not just animal loss, dog menace causes even property loss. Not just the dog menace, any stray animal menace. The farmers quite often report of this. In Tirupur and Erode districts of Tamil Nadu, in many villages, the village Gram Sabhas adopt a resolution protesting against the street dog menace, and they hoisted black flags in protest also. So therefore we have to understand, world over, this problem is there. In Australia, they face the problem of kangaroo menace. So regularly Australian government authorities ensure that the kangaroo are culled. So in Ireland, the wild deer, the population of wild deer is culled because wild deer causes enormous loss to vegetation there. So the world over, when it is a question of animal safety alone, we should vote for animal safety. There is no dispute about it. In Jellikattu's judgment, Supreme Court reminded us of Isha Upanishad. Isha Upanishad said no species in this universe has a right to dominate other species. It is true. Humans have no right to dominate dogs. But do dogs have a right to dominate humans? The law applies for both, for humans and dogs. Law cannot be selectively applied to human beings alone, leaving dogs. So therefore, when no species can dominate other species, it applies to all kinds of species. So therefore, cruelty towards animals is not legally banned. It is certainly not acceptable. So, but when it comes to human necessity, that too especially human safety, that any action that is taken in pursuance of this goal, the goal of human safety, cannot be construed as cruelty. So that should be the scientific approach and the scientific basis to deal with this problem. Otherwise, we will be caught in the conflict between emotional and sentimental approach. I do agree, dogs are very nice animals. We love dogs, we love pet dogs. Dogs are very, very loyal to human beings also. But the studies, there are also several arguments here. One of the arguments is that dogs never bite unless they are provoked. But the studies which looked into the CCTV footage have revealed that many a time there were cases of street dog bites on children, on old people, without any necessary provocation. There is another theory that if you feed dogs in the street, they will not cause any violence. They don't behave wildly when they are fed properly. Only when they are hungry, they cause this harm. But there is also another character of dog. Why dog is so loyal to its master? Because when a dog is fed in a house, the dog considers that house as a territory. So it's a territorial animal. Dogs are called territorial animals. So they have loyalty towards the territory. That's the reason when a dog is fed and looked after by a household, the dog considers that house as its own protectorate. So it tries to protect that. So that similarly, if a particular area or locality, if the dogs are fed publicly, what will happen is the dogs will consider that area as their protected area. They don't even allow other dogs to enter there, other animals to enter, and even other human beings also to enter. They cannot recognize each one of the resident and the relatives, friends. And it's just not possible. So when security guards, human beings, security guards who are human beings can't recognize everybody, can dogs recognize everybody? So if a visitor comes, the visitor may face the menace. So therefore, feeding dogs in public places can never be the solution. In fact, it adds to the menace. So therefore, we need to take a scientific approach to deal with the problem. There is a class angle also here. Who are most affected? The poor and the lower middle class are the most affected because they are the people who walk to their workplace, they are the people who walk to their schools, walk to their markets, walk to their bus stops. So these are the people, they live in the houses which do not have compound walls, which prevent the dog menace to an extent. So the lower middle class, the poor, the old age, the disabled, physically challenged, and the young and the children are the most affected people. So that clearly shows that we have to deal with the street dog menace from the point of view of human safety first, not the animal safety next. So when you look at from this angle, we have the rules called ABC rules of 2001. According to that, the authorities are supposed to sterilize and immunize the dogs and leave the dogs in the same area. When you leave the dogs in the same area, what will happen? The dog menace continues. Well, by immunization, you can prevent rabies to a great extent, but you cannot totally prevent a disease by vaccination. Still, rabies is not the only problem. Every dog bite is painful and it leads to suffering, human suffering. And it's just not possible for any authority to capture all the dogs and sterilize all the dogs. So obviously there will be unsterilized dogs who again breed the population of dogs. So that cannot be the final solution. Therefore, what is the solution? The solution is, number one, we have to ensure that our streets are free from street dogs. There is no second opinion on that. Then you have to do the sterilization and immunization to prevent the danger of rabies, to regulate the dog population. But that cannot be that is not the foolproof solution. We need to encourage responsible pet dog adoption. Well, if more and more families come forward to take care of the dogs and take the responsibility to protect others from the menacing behavior of a dog, fine. So that cannot be responsible. The pet ownership should be encouraged. And finally, feeding dogs in public spaces should be completely avoided. And finally, still if there is the population of stray animals proving to be dangerous to the human existence, the solution is human safety first.